Hey everybody, welcome back to another Tabletop Simulator scripting tutorial. In this one, I want to show off some neat things that you can do with bags. You can control access to them. So in this little setup here, only things named square can go into the bag named square, name being set here. So no name, no name. These do have names, but their name is heel ball. So that can't go in. Another way you can control access would be with tags. So if we right click this quickly, all these objects, they're not all goats, but they do all share the tag1 tag. I was just being silly with the tag names here. So just the triangles are pizza and tag1. So these will be able to go into this bag, but this won't. And again, this will not. I do have things changing color because I thought it was fun to add a little bit of, I don't know, visual flair to this. And then these are from the Pokemon Splendor mod. As you can see, as you pull them out, this number dynamically updates based on how many are left. And then when this is empty, you get a visual indicator that there are no more in case the number isn't good enough for your players. So you get both, and then as you add chips back in, the color is restored, gone, back, etc. So I have gone ahead and set up basically this table, and I'll have a link in the description to a workshop where you can just get the clean setup, and then I'll also have one with our finished product at the end. So I'm just going to go ahead and load that up. Okay, so it looks very similar, but right now everything can just go wherever you want. I haven't done any of the coding. So let's pull this stuff out. I do have this stuff pre-named and tagged for you. We check out the tags here. So these are goats and also common, and then this bag is tagged common, and it is a banana. The deck doesn't have anything special going on, and these blue rectangles are just kind of here for proof of concept. We're not really going to do anything with those. So let's go ahead and get started. So I need to jump over to VS Code. And I'm going to go ahead and do a Control-Alt-L to make sure that I have the correct instance loaded. Okay. So when you grab your scripts, the bag with the word square is the one that we have named square, and the bag with no name is the one that we are looking at the tags. So let's get started first with the tags bag. So you're going to want to come into this Lua file, and I'm going to show you a few different ways you can approach this kind of stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is add the scripting on the object. So we don't need to do anything with the onload. We need to define tryObjectEnter. I hate when it doesn't know what I want. And this we want to give, or I'm sorry, this is an event. So this is called when an object tries to enter this container. So we want to take a look at the object that is trying to come in. And like I said, this is the one that we're doing tags on. So we want to take a look at the tags on that object. So if our object dot has matching tag, and in here, you pass another object here. In this instance, we want to pass the container. Since we're already writing this on the container, we can just pass self, and that's going to pass itself. So if the object that's trying to enter this bag has a tag that matches all the tags on this bag, it's going to check all of the tags. So that's why I added more than one. Then what we want to do is return true. on tryObjectEnter, if you return true, you're allowing the object into the bag. Otherwise, we want to return false. We could have wrapped that in the else, but this is also fine doing it like this. So let's go ahead and do Control Alt and S. It is save and load. And let me jump back over. So now this should only allow the green triangles in. So far, so good. Oh yeah. Okay, and you can see if we were to change the tag on this and make it common, it's allowed to go in now. So now what we want to do is, let's take a look at this square bag, and let's write basically the same bit of code, but we're going to look at the name. So let me switch back over to VS Code, and you want to get your square bag. And again, we're going to define the same function. We're going to do try object. Now it knows. Okay. No, it doesn't. Try object enter. Jeez. Okay. So now what we want to do is look at the name. So if self, and again, that is the container that we're on. So if self.get name, I pushed tab too many times, is equal to the object that we're passing it, then return true. Spell it right. Otherwise, return false. Go ahead and do a Control Alt S. And we'll jump back over, but the same sort of story is going to be happening here. So now the squares are allowed in the square bag, but these are not allowed in. Same with these. And again, if I were to change the name, square, then you're good. So that is a couple of ways to control the access. So let's do some of the more fun stuff now. There are two schools of thought with Tabletop Simulator scripting. Some people like to do everything in global, and some people like to do some scripting on objects and some in global. I like both. But for this demonstration, we are going to work towards getting everything happening only in global. So we need to change some things. So let's go ahead and jump back over to VS Code. So we are going to undo everything we just did. Just comment this out. And let's jump over to global. We don't need any of this starter stuff. So let's first get back to where we just were. So we want to do a function. And I did mention this earlier, but these events are a little different for global versus on object. And if you use the global one, if you define the global one on an object, it will do nothing. You're not going to get an error, just nothing will happen, even though you think things should. It's the same in reverse. If you define the object function on global, nothing will happen. So the global version is called tryObjectEnterContainer. And this one, because we're in global, we actually have to pass it the container and then the object that is trying to enter it. Okay. So we want to, we're going to return false on this guy. So firstly, if, let's do the, we'll just go in the same order. So we'll do the tags part first. If the object has matching tag of the container, then return true. Else if, oh, I've spelled object wrong. Object. Else if the object, object.getName is equal to container.getName. Nope. Just type it. Then return true. Otherwise, return false. And I put the deck in here for a reason, and we're going to see what happens right now. So let's do a Control-Alt-S. And I'm going to jump back over again. So this should all still be working exactly the same. So squares can go in there. Squares should not be able to go in there. This can't go in there or there. Oh, do I have a comment tag on that? Okay, I got a little bit ahead of myself. I wanted to show you an issue that you may run into when doing all of this in global, but I scripted too much of it, so I didn't get the issue to trigger. So I'm going to jump back over here to VS Code, and I did bump up the view size here a little bit. I just had this thought that this might be a little tricky to read. So let me know if that's a good size or not. So for now, all I've done is commented out these two lines of code where we're checking the name. So back over here in Tabletop, all we're doing now is checking tags. So this one will work. This one won't, because all we're doing is checking tags. And this is what you could run into. Decks are containers. And we can take cards from this deck, no problem. No problem. Now, if we try to stack them, they cannot form a deck. They can't form a container. So I can pile them on top of each other, but they're not combining. And that is because these aren't tagged. So if I were to tag, if I tagged all these cards with something, we can make them all balls. And then I give them a little shake. There, now they can stack. So that's what I wanted to show you. Just you need to be mindful and aware of that, and see these won't stack together because this deck doesn't have a tag either. So let's go back to where we were. We're going to uncomment these lines of code. There is a couple of ways that you can go about fixing that or checking for it. Uncommenting those two lines of code is going to fix the issue in this example, because neither the cards nor the deck have anything in their name field. So when you get name, it's going to match. They both have nothing, but that will match. Another thing you can do is just add another if check. So I think I'd rather do it in the beginning just because. So we'll change this to an else if. Oh geez. And then this will be the if. So if our object type is equal to a deck, or is equal to a card, then I can't type, and we'll return that true. So if I again comment this these two lines out, and I do a Control-Alt-S, this should fix the deck problem. Yep, that's good. And I believe, oh no, I just took the name stuff out. So yeah, the naming, this is what I wanted to demonstrate. So the name stuff doesn't work, but the tag stuff still does. Okay. So back over to VS Code. Put this back on once more. Oh, to quickly comment like that, you just highlight the lines that you want to comment and do a /, and then if you want them back, /. And that is the right slash, the one that's your question mark key shares. Let's go ahead and take a look at onObjectEnterContainer. Okay, cool. Tab complete worked better that time. So this is going to look for a container again and the object that it's entering. You don't have to make this say enter object. You could just type object like this one. It would work all the same. Let's introduce that that color changing stuff I had. So in order to do that, actually, there's a couple ways to do it, but the way that we're going to do it here, we're going to make a table of colors. I've actually got this copy and pasted, or I've got this in a notepad. I don't want to type all this again. So I am just going to paste them in. These colors are predefined in Tabletop Simulator in the player's class. So you can call these by name. Everything else you're going to have to do by RGB values. But these are special, and we can reference them just by their names. So let's make that that color changing stuff happen that I was doing. So I'm doing that with a random number. And we can call math.random for that. We want a number between 1 and 12, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah. We're looking to get a random number between 1 and 12 because there's 12 colors in this table. So what we're going to do is set the color when something enters a container. We want to set it to rainbow at the indice of random number. So the way this is going to work is this is 1, this is 2, 3, all the way to 12. So we can print some stuff out too just to see. The random number was, and put a space, 2 dots for string concatenation in Lua. And then we'll put random number, more 2 dots, space, it chose the color. And again, rainbow, das in the random number. Okay. So now when objects enter a container, it's going to change the tint of the container, and then we'll get a little print statement out just so you can see what number was picked in the corresponding color. So if it picks 4, the color will be orange. Green, the color will be 6. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Tabletop. Okay. So let's put our objects in the container. The random number was 3, and it chose red. 3 again. There we go. Purple. Purple. That's not so random, but it is random. Yellow, red, black, and gray. The interesting thing with this, though, is with the deck. So it'll take a few, I guess it'll only take one, you can see. The cards are entering the new container, so it is tinting it. So you can see the edge of the deck is changing randomly. So let's add some more stuff. Back over to VS Code. We can leave that print statement in for now, I guess. We want to go ahead and define basically the same thing when we leave. We don't have to, but might as well be consistent. onObjectLeaveContainer. We want all of this. Okay. We go ahead and do a Control-Alt-S. Now it'll do it when things are pulled out as well. So put stuff in, color changes, pull stuff out, color changes. Pretty cool. Now I think we'll take a look at how to get this counter incrementing, and also we want to exclude these from changing color. You may have a mod where you want some things to be affected by this color swap, and these you don't. Let me check something. Did I tag? Okay, good. Okay, so we're gonna jump back over to VS Code. And you saw me there very quickly just making sure that I did tag those two bags with the tag of ball. Can be any tag you want, but I chose ball. So let's make some if logic. So if container has tag ball, oops, then we're going to work on the dynamic number updating. So we need to see how much is in there. So container.get quantity. I'm going to use get quantity here, and I'm going to do a different way of getting the amount of objects in there when we leave, just so you can see a couple different ways to do it. So this is just going to be a variable of how many objects are inside that container. So then we want to do if the contents greater than 0, then we want to check that color tint on it. And if it's not white, not equal to white, I want to set it to white. Okay. And again, we're going to want to do the same sort of thing when we leave. So just basically, well, we might as well copy paste it. Oh, what have I done? One more. Okay, but I did say actually that I wanted to do this differently, so let's change how we're getting contents. So instead of doing get quantity, in Lua, if you put the pound sign or the hashtag in front of anything, it will give you the numerical value of it. So we're going to do container.getObjects. And because this is preceded with the hashtag, this will be an integer. And the logic will still work. So we do need to change this boolean a bit though. So if this is empty, if contents is 0, then we don't want to set the color to white, and we actually don't care about this nested if. So here, so if it's 0, we want to set that color tint. We want to set that to gray. Or is it EY? It's EY. Okay. And then we do want to throw this color change stuff into an else. Otherwise, we're going to do all this color setting and then the randomness is still going to happen. So we need to do an else here. And we want to move this stuff into that. And the same here. Okay. Fix that indentation. That looks, no red lines. That looks good. All right, let's test this because that was a fair bit of code. So let's jump over. And these numbers are still not going to update, but that's okay. We care about the color. So far so good. It's not changing. And that is what we want. So it's gray. Now we add. It's white. It's gray. It's white. And all of this should still be doing all of its fun color change and chat spam. And it is. All right, so that's good news. Everything's working. So now we'll go ahead and fix these numbers so that these update. So let me switch back over again. What we want to do, I'm setting the value on each of these bags here. So because there's one that starts at 5. I could make this all work in global. I haven't refactored the code. I'm trying to show you how to do it from inception so you don't have to do double the work. So that's why they all have 7s right now, but we are going to do this in global. So we need another function, and we want to update labels of the buttons on those bags. Container. Let's see, local, it doesn't matter, contents, again, and we'll do get quantity again. So this is going to give us the amount of objects inside the Pokeball bags. We want to do container dot edit button, and we just want to update the label. Contents. Okay, that should work. Let's give it a go. Control Alt S and let me switch the scene. Okay. It's not happy with us. Oh, I know why. Let me switch back over. I'll give you a hint. It's because we're not actually calling that function anywhere. So we are doing update label, but we need to call it when things happen. So in here, okay, so in the ball part, update label, and we want to give it the container, and you need to put it inside of this if block, because these are the only 2 bags in the scene that have the ball tag and have these buttons. If you didn't, you're gonna get a bunch of errors every time people pull stuff out of your bags. So again, I'm gonna give it container, Control Alt S. Try once more. I think it'll work this time. Oh yeah, 6, 5, 4, and it'll count back up. 1, and our colors are good. Okay, and all of this is again still working just like we left it, and our cards are still working. They're still changing their colors, all that good stuff. Obviously you'd probably want to disable those print statements now that you know it's all working. So that's all I wanted to show you with these events as far as entering and exiting bags and controlling access to them. Let me know what you think. Hopefully it was easy enough to follow. Like I said in the beginning, I will have links for 2 different workshop files, the completed one and the empty one. So if you want to start where I started, you can follow along, or if you just want to see it all at the end, that will be available to you as well. I'm having a really good time making these. I hope they're helpful to you out there in the community. Let me know if there's anything I could do better, explain better. Just any feedback is incredibly beneficial to me. And of course, if you're still here and you're still listening to this end of the video ramble, I would love it if you subscribe to the channel and like the video. If you do need help, feel free to leave a comment down below and I will do the best I can to help you out. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you next time.